Good afternoon. It is October the 9th, 2019. We got a lot of questions. People saying Bitcoin is breaking out. Should I hold my alts? Is this time to get out of alts? Is Bitcoin dominance going to crush us again? Our indicators should give us some inside view on that. Let's go over our big 7 cryptocurrencies and see what our indicators are telling us. While we're on this live stream, be sure to hit the thumbs up button. It does make a difference. It makes me happy. Before we jump into it, let's hit the disclaimer, because it's not trading advice, just market observation against a very specific trading plan. And let's jump into the charts and see what's been going on just here today. 9 o'clock this morning, Bitcoin started to take off. There was some really good volume, and we did a live stream this morning at 5 a.m. and we talked about all of the indicators and what they would need to do. If Bitcoin was breaking out, the indicators would have to show us this, that, and the other thing. And they all set up. So I went long Bitcoin with a 10 times long position, and it's up a little bit right now. Doing good. My stop is above my entry, so my job is done for that trade. Now I want to figure out what's going on with the alts, because as Bitcoin was breaking up, the alts were taking a punishment. They're not really standing still though, and we're getting some really good consolidation here. So I want to go through these closely with our indicators and document what they're showing us here today, so that in the future we can come back and compare against what actually happened. So here is Bitcoin dominance. As I pull it out, we can see that it really had a snap back. As Bitcoin broke out, all of the alts were like in a panic dump there for a bit. It hasn't followed through and broken past this support and resistance level from our head and shoulders top formation in Bitcoin dominance. So I don't know if it's so much time to jumping out of the alts. Let me go over and check out the chat here. We got On the Edge saying hello. Good to have you here. Trator Rututo, good to have you along as well. And here's what happened in ADA. We're looking at the 1 hour charts. So ADA broke out, everything's looking exciting, and then slam. And so these are difficult times to trade. And I want to step back now and see, how does this fare against our formation, our 1, 2, 3 formation? And would this be a place where we would change our tune and start getting out of this? Is this the pissing off the roof formation starting out now? Because many 1, 2, 3 bottom formations start out so nice, and then right at the very most exciting moment, they turn into the worst trades you could be taking. And so here again, we have the exhaustion wicks at the top. We have what now appears to be an exhaustion and a reversal. So let's zoom into our indicators to see if they are giving us divergences, or if they are saying that this is just a little normal pullback and that we shouldn't be sweating. First thing I want to look at on all of them is, where is the exponential moving average crossover? On the 4 hour time frame and on the 12 hour time frame. Well, that's 1 day. I was going, hey, whoa. On the 12 hour time frame, this crossed to the positive, but not to the negative. So both of them are still positive for ADA. Let's do BCH. It is already crossed to the negative for Bitcoin Cash. It got kicked out of our consideration for a while. I've been just saying no as I come up to that chart, and that's all the work I do on it. It's not in a position. So this has crossed to the positive on the 12 hour time frame. 4 hour time frame, still good. Let's go to Ethereum. On the 12 hour time frame, we've got lots of room here. And if I go into the 4 hour time frame, we're still good. The longer this goes sideways, the less it has to pull back to make this crossover. But so far, we're whistling Dixie, not a problem. Litecoin never did cross positive here on the 12 hour time frame, so it didn't really get into our good books. All the way along, the Ichimoku cloud and everything was not giving us the green light on Litecoin, so it never did cross to our trading signal, and so it pulled back, but didn't go negative on the 4 hour time frame, just to observe. TRX on the 12 hour time frame, our exponential moving averages are fine. If we zoom in a little bit, it's all good. That pullback is like, okay. And then we go into Ripple, and of course the 12 hour exponential moving averages is sitting pretty. It's no problem. The 4 hour is no problem at all. We do have a top formation here, and I want to point out that we have a potential break of an uptrend line. So we are getting some of the first indicators of a potential top formation setting in, but just in this brief overview, I'm not sweating it so much yet. Now I'm watching for those things to, those crossovers to occur or not, but let's see. So, hey, Adrian, good to have you along. The internet is expensive in Canada. Yeah, internet is expensive in Canada. Expensive compared to what, though? So it's all relative. Altcoin market cap does not change this morning. BNB mega dump. We'll take a look at those in a second, but first I want to go through this routine to be sure that this is at the beginning of the video for my own part, so that 6 months from now when I come back, I'm right to the good stuff. Here, we still have this uptrending RSI. We do have a little bit of a divergence, but nothing kicking me out really heavy and strong yet here on the 12-hour time frame. I've got to step back. Same on the 1-day time frame. There's a bit of a divergence here, but nothing really breaking down deep. And it's all across these center lines now. As we get here, if it bounces up off of this, we're rocking. If it starts to break below this, then it's time to pay attention, and our exponential moving averages will probably cross over. Now, ADA in the closer time frame, what is this? On the 4-hour time frame, okay, I was thinking that chart didn't look right. It didn't load up all the data properly. Now it's pulled back properly. The RSI is still good above these levels. That's no problem. In fact, I'm shopping for a place to add on to a trade. If I had purchased in, if I had been lucky enough to purchase in where I could have my stop above my entry, but no, not in this market. It's just looking for the actual first entry into it for my own part. It didn't break above these levels yet. So I'm not going to do BCH ABC. Let's do, but I got to stay on track now with ADA, and let's go to the on balance volume. And I want to track this for each one of them. Not so much dumping, right? We had this big pullback here, but not a lot of dumping to go along with it. Very interesting. ADA with the MACD actually did cross over to the negative on the 4-hour time frame, but I'm more interested in the 12-hour. It's still holding its own to the positive. So if the 12-hour crosses to the negative and our exponential moving averages cross over, if you have any ADA, it would be a good idea to reevaluate and wait for it to actually give us a trend rather than chopping sideways. For my own trading plan, I always get chewed up in this kind of range. I overtrade. I spends way too much time. I get stressed right out, and it doesn't give me any benefit. If I'd have done nothing, I would have done better if I'd have sat still. So you're getting my own bias here built in. The 4-hour time frame did go to the positive. I did like this, and it's kind of running out of like juice here so far. If this blue crosses over the red, then I'm more nervous about it coming back through the cloud here. So if we're starting to cut through, the cloud starts to twist to negative, as this is, we do have a double top. The divergences aren't strong, so I just think we're getting more sideways here in this, and it's not a panic. Now, we did look at EOS for the relative strength index a little bit, right? Let's go to the 12-hour time frame. So long as it stays above this mid-level, we're all good. This break was important. As it's breaking, it's important to know that we've broken this uptrend in the relative strength index. Each time we broke down and went below the mid-level, then we're getting a pullback. So long as this stays above the mid-level, we're okay in its normal breathing in and out. Not a problem. If we go into EOS in the volume now, let's see what went on here. Not a lot of selling volume, even though we pulled back pretty good. That I like to see. That's unique data when we can compile that with all of this other stuff. Here, what is this? 12-hour time frame also has not crossed to the negative. So I expect that the 4-hour has, that's the 1 hour, quite a bit. The 4-hour has crossed to the negative. Got to pay attention to it. If this manifests and the 12-hour starts to cross, I'll be expecting that our exponential moving averages will be crossing, and it'll be time to get out of this market until it rebuilds and changes direction. If it gets down any lower, then it's doing sideways chop, and I don't want to play sideways. Let's go into EOS for the Ichimoku cloud. Much the same scenario that we just saw in ADA, that if the blue crosses over the red right here, and we're coming back and poking through the cloud, it will make our exponential moving averages cross to the negative, and it'll be time to get out and review. Swing traders may want to grab a spot if we get down to here, but for the trend trader, we're going to wait for it, for whatever it's screwing around in here, until it gets back up and start actually changing direction. Then we can start playing the game again. So it does look like things could be pulling back. Let's go on to Ethereum here in the the RSI. This has had a divergence for a while, both in the RSI and in the MACD, and we've been calling it out day by day as it's been unfolding. How about the selling? Not that bad. You know, it didn't dump into a whole bunch of negative selling. All of these things seem to have held their own, pulled back a little bit, but not so bad. Let's go into Ethereum for the 12-hour time frame. It is barely holding on to positive here. In fact, it's so barely positive, I have to open this up to see it, that it is still crossed to the positive, but barely holding on. Across to the negative there with these divergences, right? We've got another divergence here where we've got higher highs, but not agreeing here. So this feels like it's going to pull back more right now too. So everything is giving me the idea that it is going to pull back from where we are. No guarantees yet. The blue will have to cross the red. This will have to make its way down. This still has to cross over to the negative. So if this comes off the cloud and bounces higher, I'm wrong, and it's continuing on. But right now, things are feeling like they're getting ready to pull back, and for us to be on guard against that anyway. It's one of the continual things of the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation trading strategy is that you've always got to be watching for the fact that it doesn't work. Lots of the time. 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Oh, it looks so fantastic. I'm telling you, listen to the social media and everything on this day. It was really very bullish. And then it was just not the right time to buy. So here again, as we're setting up, we've always got to be on guard against that and assume that could be coming. I'm not freaking out until this breaks below this level here in the RSI on the 12-hour time frame. This is the more important time frame for my view of the RSI. Here, Litecoin never got into our good books for the last week as we've been going through this. The on-balance volume never really picked up. It didn't break and push as high as the other one. So should this come back and rest a while, it's okay. You know, it's not such a bad thing for the overall market. And there's our almost crossing over to the negative on this 12-hour. So I am getting more bearish on the alts the more I'm looking at this. Overall, I think that they are pulling back a little bit, and I don't know how much, but right at this moment for the next little hours or few hours, it could be pulling back. Ethereum Classic is pumping. I think there are a few coins that are going to be taking off as Bitcoin's going down. There were some in November of last year that really took off and went up 300% while Bitcoin was going down. Those are the coins that we're watching really closely. But right now, looking at Litecoin, it also seems like it could be fading off here. Nothing doing in all of these coins again until we start building structure above these levels again. So for now, I'm not going short on any of these while we're down to historical lows. I'm just watching for where to get that first leg into the long trade. And once there's a bit of juice above that and we have some profit, then we can start thinking about the bigger trade that is actually in the direction of the trend. So for now, it's kind of just mucking about just to prevent myself from FOMO, fear of missing out. Just get a little trade in. At least I'm getting some percentage gains when it's correct. Then I can add on the real trade. Let's go on to TRX because it was really doing great. Really doing great. And this RSI broke this level. I don't think it's super bearish though. Even if it comes back to these levels and consolidates, that's not super bearish. That's like a normal part of going up, right? Up and down. The market gives it to you and it takes it away. It gives it to you and it takes it away. And if your position size is so big that this is a significant amount of money in your overall portfolio, then your position size is too big. You need to have a smaller position size so that you can weather these kind of moves without freaking out, without it being a worry for you, until that 4-hour exponential moving average crosses over. Then it's a worry. So here, this really broke clean, like really gave us a nice clean divergence in the few days now. The RSI holding flat while the price is going up. A few days of it. So I love to go back to my other videos now to say, was I noticing this day after day that this divergence was building? And if not, I want to, pay attention for next time. I was really loving this volume pattern. I was paying attention to this. So as the volume pattern was breaking out, that was confirmation to me that this whole structure here was really valid. And that we've come back this much and not had it gone to negative selling. I think this is all good and not a problem. This is normal movement on the way up. So if I was taking my dog for a walk and he went from one side of the path to the other side of the path and back, I wouldn't be worried that he's falling off the path. Not yet. I'll yell at him when he crosses the boundary. So here, when this MACD crosses to the negative on the 12-hour time frame, it's time to pay attention. It's crossed on the 4-hour time frame. But remember that on the uptrend, this 4-hour MACD indicator can oscillate and oscillate and oscillate all the way up. The thing that should stay more steady should be the 12-hour. While the 4-hour is oscillating, the 12-hour should stay pretty steady, and the day should be even more steady. That as everything else is oscillating, this just continues to stay in its trend. So I'm still really bullish on this. Overall, we could have that little pullback, it feels like, right at the very start here. We could be coming back to these levels. But until this crosses over and we poke through the cloud here, I'm still pretty bullish overall on this market. I like it. Let's go on to Ripple. And if you haven't already, hit the thumbs up button. It does make a difference. It makes me happy. So, and subscribe as well. It's always good to have more subscribers. Get the channel to help more people, and it'll make a difference in my life. That makes me feel better. So now, this is starting to give us some really wicked divergences here, and I would expect that this is going to pull back to its 50% level of the recent move. Just a standard, I don't know what it is, but makes the Fibonacci's work the way they do. You can fit them to whatever you like, but they really do have prices respect these within a range, right down to support and resistance levels. Look where these levels turn out, the 50%, the 0.38, amazing stuff. So if this pulls back and gives us a pattern like this, we're now into nitro zone for me. Now we're starting to set up for those kind of trades that are giving us an actual channel, an actual trend channel that we can start to lay heavy on these bottom sides as they're breaking out. Heavier in terms of we've already got some profit underneath us that we could use for protection. And then we could put on the heavier margin trade here to ride the nitro to the top and get out of that middle trade. And the main early trade is still on through all of the playing going on in the nitro zones. So you never use nitro around a corner. You're not going to accelerate your race car while you're going around a corner. You slow down when you're coming up to the corners. And then when you come to the straight stretch, you hit the gas again. This is what we're looking for in this kind of nitro pattern. Wrong indicator. So let's map this out as we're going and rock these. Where is my Bitcoin trade? Is up 26.9% right now. Because I flipped out of my TRX long right as Bitcoin started to go. And I wasn't sure, but I saw other coins starting to get weak just at that moment as Bitcoin started to show the strength, and I could see a little hesitation in the other coins going on. So I thought, I'll just close this position and flip over to Bitcoin. And so now I'm up because it's a 10 times long. It's up 26%. Not bad out of that. Could have got in a bit earlier, but it's okay. Now my job is done. Now that my stop is above my entry, my job is done. I'll just wait and see what goes on with Bitcoin. And I am shopping for a sell signal in that Bitcoin chart. Now I'll go and look at the chart, the chat here. Actually, I wanted to bring it up in the Ichimoku cloud. Bitstamp Bitcoin. Zoom in. Zoom out. Here's the 12-hour time frame, and this is where I'm starting to shop for my sell signal. Let me clear off all this stuff because those were pretty good buy signal setups out of this bottom formation. All of our indicators were setting it up. They really clearly pointed it out, so it was easier to take action on it when everything is agreeing. But now I am still watching for a sell signal up in this range. So let's watch. Let's see what our indicators are telling us for all of the alts and for Bitcoin as we come up to these levels. Now, let me see the chat. And I'll zoom in on this. Ethereum, oh, BNB. Let's go look at poor BNB. I never did get the idea of why BNB was a coin that pumped in the first place. I didn't get the business plan of it, but it was going up. It was making a chart formation. I thought I would trade it, and I did a good job. Well, I did a little, oh, it's still on the chart. You can see where I got in and where I got out too early. Way too early. And now we're making a formation here. It's jumped up and pulled back. And I actually really like this chart formation. I don't mind at all what it's just done on the front edge. If I move in on this, then this, well, that's okay. Completely okay for me. As I zoom back on this now, it's like it's given us a high five. Like, I'm going to go soon. Let me pull back a little bit for everybody else to get on the train. That's what it feels like to me. And now that this is, I would consider this to be its own independent, 3 times off this bottom. This is the number 1 point. We have a 1, 2, 3 shaping up here. So if it starts to break above these levels and starts to go, I'm taking that as parabolic action starting. Even though it got a little slap down as Bitcoin moved up, it doesn't seem to have really knocked it out of the park and down past the other direction. It's even caught itself here. Like, this is really nice and overbought, but it's caught itself really well. So should the RSI start to build up above these levels as we're going up here, I would say that this is not going to stop from this little slap. Yes, even on the 12-hour time frame, as it starts to break above these levels, now we're starting to have our exponential moving average crossover, and that is a good start of a determinant of the change of direction of the trend. Here is our downtrend. So it's not quite enough really yet to know if it's going to be going sideways or not. It hasn't changed directions. It's just poked its nose out of this position here so far. So ideally, I would like it to take some more time and build an ascending wedge triangle out of this. And even then, as it came out of that, I would be expecting the cup with handle formation just to bitch slap everybody who gets in with too big of a position and their stops too close to their position there. They get their stops taken out, and then off the market actually ends up going. So all of these things, you've got to start off with a really small position and get your stops done correct on this. I'm pretty skeptical about this and wanting it to spend a lot more time building a change of direction that I could build, that feels strong enough to have some momentum to keep going. Other than that, I'm afraid of getting stuck in a sideways bunch of crap in that one. Ethereum Classic is pumping. I was always interested in why Ethereum Classic was doing stuff that Ethereum wasn't. What's the deal there? They're different blockchains, I know. Different projects on their blockchains. It's still not enough to do anything with now because it hasn't broken its downtrend line. I like that it's built a little 1, 2, 3 here, and now a larger 1, 2, 3 sort of shaping up. But this is one of the later coins that I'll be getting into afterwards. It's got some work to do. It's got to build itself up and show me that you're changing directions and going somewhere. Then maybe I'll play. And, a swing trader would take that differently. They would be jumping in now and they'd say, well, look, I've got another 30% profit more than you. But over time, these may go sideways. And as an investor, I want to sit back more. I'm going to wait on this chart pattern. So I like that it's doing something here, and really it is a tiny little 1 2 3 formation. If you are trading close to the market, this, like a pro trader would take this as an alert. As an investor, I'd be saying lots more time for sideways. Let me see that everything is actually changing direction first before I'm in. So there's a few different ways to approach every market. And if you're new to the channel and you haven't already, be sure to head over to the website intro-to-cryptos.ca and put your email address in for the free webinar. If you put your email address in for the free webinar and you haven't received it within the first 30 minutes, be sure to let me know over on Discord. I'm actually going to record a new live version of that webinar with a new updated layout to it, some new improvements and some new details that we can add into that webinar. So if you are signed up to the email list on the website, you'll get access to that new webinar when it comes out. Adrian says, this reminds me, alts pumped from the end of the year of 2018 past that massive 50% dump afterwards. Yes, in December of 2017, if I go to, I'm going to go to Poloniex charts because I know Ethereum, 1 year view, get rid of the indicator, zoom out, and go back to these days in the last time we had this mega downtrend. And it was looking great. Look at this, November of 2017. Yeah, we endured the terrible long downtrend. It was awful all the way along here. It looked like it was going to take off. And then everybody just got hammered. Then it pulled itself back up and it looked like it was going to take off and everybody got hammered. Then it came back up and everybody got hammered and hammered. All of the believers all just got taken to the cleaners. And we can see in hindsight that our exponential moving averages crossed over. It was time to go short all the way along here. If we grab the Ichimoku cloud, it'll tell us this would sell signals in the downtrend all the way along here. And then we had another chance. The 1 2 3 bottom started to shape up. Bitcoin is taking off here. And as Bitcoin did a run up, the alts got hammered. They just absolutely got smacked. And look what happened to Bitcoin during this time. It really did a big run up. And the alts comparatively didn't go down as deeply. But this was an important capitulation day here. I recall it clearly because it was within 1 2 3 days that this made a 1 2 3 bottom formation and turned around. And for my own trading system with the 1 2 3 bottom on the 12-hour time frame, this often gets away from us. And I wasn't able to get into any of these trades until after it made a bigger 1 2 3 bottom. So if we are in this phase right now and we are just getting this little bit of excitement in all of our alts, everything's turning green, we really could get our asses handed to us right now. So when these exponential moving averages cross over on the 4-hour and on the 12-hour time frame, it's not games. We really have to get out of those trades and stand back, wait to see if it's just sideways or if we are going to get another chance to get in at a better position. And then when things shape up like this in the next near future, alts will take off. We'll have our day in the sun. But if you're over, how does that fear and greed thing work again? A good trader is fearful at the beginning of a trade. A bad trader is greedy at the beginning of a trade. So this is why I advocate that we take very small beginning trade positions here until the market has proven us correct and we can add onto it with safety. And we are watching for our exit now. We're watching for our exit now on the 4-hour and the 12-hour time frame on all of our markets. Now, if you're interested in this and having some of this hand-fed to you on a daily basis, this is the spreadsheet for you. It costs $15 a month, thereabouts, to have access to it, and you can purchase it over on our website. There's a link up along the top. Not only do you get access to this spreadsheet that shows you all of the bull and bear markets in Poloniex and in Binance, we update it for you every day, but every day you get an email sent to you that shows you tells you how many coins are in each different status. If there are exit coins, you'll be the first to know. You'll get this emailed to you. So then you can come to the spreadsheet and quickly find out which are the exit coins and go and evaluate your portfolio. So the purpose of this spreadsheet is to get us into the coins at the right time when the bull market is starting, but also to get us out of the coins at the right time if the bull market doesn't continue or if it ends. So this is probably the most valuable crypto spreadsheet out there. And if there's something more valuable, I want to know what it is. You're holding out on me. If there's something out there more valuable and you haven't told me about it, you're holding out. The last thing we can talk about here is our pro alerts. This is much more specific than the color-coded spreadsheet. We give you actual entries and exits so you can tell exactly the profit potential in all of these. Many of our really good profitable trades have our stop losses in place, and I'll tell you more about our strategy and what we're going to do with all of these markets over in our pro alerts Discord chat. Anyway, that's it for today. Let me go and check the chat again to see if there's any questions or anything you want me to go and take a look at. I'll do that just before I sign off. Where we go. H bar. Oh yes, Christmas Day was an awesome one too. Everybody was paying attention to something else, and the markets knew it. H bar. I don't know H bar. I know it's here, but it's so new that I don't know anything about it because it's so new. H bar. So that's about what I know about it. Not so much. And I zoom into it, and I can't do anything with this. It's not giving, not even a little 1, 2, 3 bottom formation that I like. So I couldn't do anything with this now if I was to, until this double bottom shapes up. I like it's got some pre-pump activity going on, and it's got a bit of a kind of a bear flag going on there, right? So nothing doing in this. It's got a few different structural levels that, you know, I might put $5 into it because really you get quite a few coins for $5, but not until it starts to break up above these levels. So I don't know anything about it, but just that chart pattern in this little bit of time, while Bitcoin's going up and all the alts are suffering, nope. This is, even if it's good and it's going to go up from here, it's probably going to go down first just because of the tone of the whole market. Hey, on the edge. Good to have you here. But that about wraps it up. We could go on all day, and actually we do. Be sure to come over and join us on our Discord chat, because as this episode is done, we continue the conversation and we keep talking about these different markets over on our free area of our Discord chat. You can always talk about anything you want about ADA. We can give you all the indicators, Litecoin, Tron, Ripple. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, come on over. We'll talk about all that stuff for sure. If you want to know everything about all the coins on Binance, then we have our basic color-coded spreadsheet for you. Phenomenal value. Or we have our pro level, which is coming up with some amazing updates in the next short while. Programmers working on it. I can't even tell you. It's secret stuff. Zilla. Okay, let's go take a look at this one. You got me. I actually updated this one in our spreadsheet earlier today. But it's going to suffer like everything else. If we are coming back, it's going to suffer like everything else. So it's wonderful. It's way down to these crazy low levels. It's making this beautiful, long, slow pattern. We're getting this nice volume setting up here. So all of it is good. And remember Warren Buffett's quote that says, he says, the stock market, I'm paraphrasing. I'm sure it's not exactly like this. Let me paraphrase it. The cryptocurrency market is a tool. It's a vehicle to transfer money from the impatient to the patient. So this is going to transfer money now from the impatient to the patient. The patient people are accumulating and they are going away and doing something else. They know that it's going to be months of time for this money to work for them. It's going to be months of time that you could put your money in here. And what was this? The first of the year. This is 10 months of time. There was very little to do in this market except to sit. So we have the same thing now. We're accumulating. We want to do it as safely as possible. And so we want to accumulate down in these areas. and then do a whole bunch of nothing until it gets up into these areas where we're going to accumulate a little bit more. And that's it. Buy a little bit here, wait for it, come up, retouch, buy a little bit there. Now we're done our job for the next 18 months. The next 18 months out of this. Crazy. ZIL. Bulbous. UAU. I don't think that's an actual coin. But anyway, that does it. Now let's zoom into Bitcoin. Where are my multi-coin charts? Here we are. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple. Really awesome to have these 4 charts set up like this using multicoincharts.com. If you haven't used this one, check it out. It's awesome. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you guys being here. Keeps me regular, keeps me on top of the game. And because of you're here, we record this every day, and now we have this asset to look back on. 6 months from now, we can come back and watch this episode and see what those indicators were actually telling us. So we did do ETH, and we can take a look at Theta. Let me go to ETH because it's closer alphabetically. Whoops, no wonder. Ethereum, I think it's going to be pulling back. So it is earlier in the episode for a more complete review of it. But I think it's pulling back, but it looks like an ascending wedge triangle that's just about to blow off straight to the top. Like it's going to be going up from 22 to 27, really. So one part of me thinks it's not even started to go. And the other part of me thinks that because of the divergences and stuff, it may come back to these levels before going higher. And any of that stuff, your position size should be small enough where that kind of range in the movement over this kind of time frame should be okay inside your portfolio, right? We're looking to transfer money from the impatient who get in and out and in and out and in and out and in and out over to the patient who get in and they sit there and they wait. Theta is probably one of the better charts right now. Well, not this moment, since it also got bitch slapped as Bitcoin came back. But if I pull it out to the longer term time frame, look at this building up. And compare it what it did in the past. So there are a couple different generations of coins. We can see some coins that came up in this time frame and did much of nothing and then went down lower from there. They just never did much of anything. And so I'm not so excited about those coins, no matter what kind of formation they're making right now. They didn't do squat last time. But the coins that did come off of these bottoms and make a significant run up, when they're making bottom formations here, I want some. I want some, and I'm going to expect that it's going to come up and hesitate at these levels when it does. So that's where I'm going to be thinking to add on to my position. And so I approach this, I think, differently than many of the day trading people who try to, let's say they get an entry here, right? There's your buy signal, and then they have target 1, target 2, target 3, target 4, and they make a big deal when prices touch their target 4 and they say we've made this much profit. And I'm thinking, well, I could put on a bit of my trade. I know this is going to be a very much longer trade. I want more than just 20%, 30%. I want to milk all I can out of this. Much like I did in 2017 from March to July, I was ready for it. I was prepared for years in advance of it. Same thing with this one. We're ready for it. Let's not talk ourselves out of it by overthinking it. Let's be patient. Take a position. Wait for it. Our job is to stop our losses. Our job isn't to make money. So once we're in a profitable position, there's nothing for us to do. Our job is finished. Then we have to leave it for the market and let the market do as much or as little as it wants. So if this starts to cross over and it goes poo-hoo, we're out. and we'll watch for another bottom, but this is phenomenal. Crazy to see this at, what's that, 1,000 Satoshi, we could say, in general. Whew. Insane. And this went up to 5,000 Satoshi. Can we do leverage trading on this? I want to go check it out. Anyway, I love this stuff. I love going over it, and let's continue talking about it over on our Discord chat. Come and join us there. Ciao for now. Let's go back into our trippy opening.